Welcome back to Started from the Bottom. I am your host, Susan Peterson. Today I have Meg Wilson in studio. Meg Wilson has been an RN, BSN, and CNO for the past 10 years. She graduated from Ameritech in 2013. She's been working for Modwala for the past 2 years, and she is currently the CNO. Meg lives in Utah with her husband and 3 children. Welcome, Meg.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad you're here.
I know. It's good to be here. I'm excited.
Okay, let's talk about how you got started.
Okay. This is actually a good story.
I can't wait.
So I told Susan I was not like the traditional, had these dreams of being a nurse from a little girl growing up. I was 26. I had 2 kids. I had a newborn and a 2-year-old. My husband decided to change jobs just right from the cuff. And I was like, oh, perfect. You're going to find a job tomorrow. This is no big deal. And it took months and months and months and months for him to figure out what he was going to do. So I started cleaning houses for people in our townhome complex. And I would like take my little baby and my baby Bjorn and a 2-year-old with an iPad. And I was like cleaning these houses. It was taking me 8 hours to clean a like 1,000-foot square, townhome. And one of my good friends that lived in our townhome complex, Jenna Rammel, you may know, she gave me the contact to someone else, and I started cleaning her house weekly. But I did it for like 6 months, and it was just brutal. It was absolutely brutal, and I just was like, I got to do something. It was kind of a wake-up call for me, really. Like, if my husband died, if he couldn't work, like, what would we do? What would I do? How would I support these kids? And so I decided that I was going to try and get through something quickly that I could still be a mom and make a good income. And so nursing was kind of at the top of that list. So I went to nursing school with a newborn and a 2-year-old, and people were like, you're an idiot. And I think I was. But it was like crazy hard, but the best thing I ever did, for sure.
Sometimes when you're too stupid to know any better.
Yeah.
Like, you can just get it done and then be like,
yeah,
I would never do that again. But
yeah, like I look back and I'm like, I'm not exactly sure how we made it through that time. Like,
yeah,
I don't even remember so much of that time, which is kind of sad. But you get in this like focus field where it's just, this is what I have to do to survive. This is what we have to do to protect this family.
Yeah.
And it was, I did it for 2 years and went through an accelerated program because at the time, like, I'm like, I don't have 2 years to get into a program, do the prerequisites. So I spent 3 times the amount of money to do it all in one. It was super busy and way hard, but we did it. And now that's what I've been doing for the last 10 years.
So you graduate and you get a job where?
Yeah, so I got a job. It's called the Utah Valley Specialty Hospital, which is like, it's an acute care hospital for people who need ICU type care, but like insurance won't pay for it in a standard hospital. So they send them to this. So like, it's a lot of people like new quadriplegics or people with brain injuries or severe wounds, things like that. So it was just kind of like throwing you into the fire. And I did that for a couple years, and then I switched over to the ER, which is where I've spent the majority of my nursing career.
How's the ER?
The ER is wild.
Is it true that the ER is crazier on a full moon?
1,000%.
Really?
I'm telling you, if it's a full moon Friday, forget it. Every like terrible thing that can happen will happen. It is no joke. You can ask any nurse. I was like, this is not true. It is true.
What is it?
All the stars and the heavens align, and people are like, it's time to just do stupid things and get to the ER. That's our goal today.
People doing stupid stuff.
100%.
And then you have like mentally ill people.
Mentally ill people get craziest on full moons. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. It is bizarre.
Okay.
The werewolves come out. I don't know what happens, but
Vampires.
It is vampires. And you don't want to be in the ER on a full moon. Not as a worker or a patient.
Do you get extras like time and a half?
We should. It should be a holiday pay because of the amount of sweat you're putting into these people. Like, it's no joke.
What's some of the craziest things you've seen on a full moon?
Oh my gosh. I could write a book. I should write a book.
You should.
I mean, I see crazy injuries, like people on drugs do crazy things. They jump off of buildings. They think they're superhuman, so they do all kinds of bizarre things. We see people put things in weird places. You get real creative. Like during the pandemic, people just got really creative. And I'm like, you need something to do. You need a job.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You need to leave you need to go outside.
But no, we just, yeah. I mean, that could be a podcast in and of itself. Just the craziest things.
There should be. It's like the full moon nurses.
The full moon nurses. I mean, they could tell you you just see the weirdest, most bizarre things always happen on full moons.
Okay.
Always.
I've wondered if that's true.
It's very true.
And then when did you start working with Madwala?
So,
am I saying that right?
Madwala.
Madwala.
Yeah. Madwala, bringing modern wellness home.
Okay, I love it.
So one of the ER physicians I work with, Dr. Olson, he and I actually knew each other when we were young. Our older brothers played baseball together, and he and his wife, Jossie, started this company. And I was literally sitting there one day, and I was looking at Instagram in the ER, and Josh Red said, "My buddy is starting an IV business." I was like, "Wait, I want in on this." Like, what do you mean you're starting an IV business? Like, I'm really good at IVs. Let me come in. And so
you actually are very good at IVs.
Thank you. So it was just my first, I was like one of the first nurses in this business. And when we started 2 years ago, we had no clients. So I was still working full time in the ER. I was just doing this as a side gig. Like, I'm going to go do some IVs after work or before work just to try to make some extra income. And then I started getting really creative, and I'm like, wait, I could actually make a business out of this.
Mm-hmm.
I've done this for 10 years. You're working Christmas, you're working every weekend, you're working major holidays, and I have these kids that I'm missing all this stuff. And I'm like, if I could make my own business and my own clientele, then I make the rules, right? Like, I set the times when I can go see these people. And so I started like putting more effort into it, and I got some ideas. And I actually came to Genorama, was my first person, and I said, look, I'm going to do an IV for you for free if you'll post about it and tag me. And all these people started DMing me like, I want to try. And then it's just kind of escalated from there. And you're getting into all these, now I'm getting into all these good networks and circles and things. And it's just been amazing for me to be like an independent contractor and really like have my own clients.
So let's just talk about what you do. So
Okay.
you go to patient's house.
Yeah. So originally we started as just like a mobile IV company. They're all over the place. It kind of originated in Vegas. And now what we really try to do is we're an in-home concierge health and wellness service. We offer Botox, we offer labs, we offer semaglutide, we offer teeth whitening now, we offer IVs. So we're going to offer testosterone soon. We're just trying to offer things that people make all these appointments for and bring them to you. It's convenience, right?
Yeah.
So that you don't have to find babysitters. You don't have to make 5 different appointments to go get these things done. Like, we'll come to your home. You can lay in your bed if you want. We're just trying to make it convenient for people to get the services they want and they need, but do it from their home.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Talk to me about growing up. Like, were you nursey?
No. Honestly, this is no joke. I grew up with all brothers.
Okay.
I come from this hardcore sports family. We're very competitive. I grew up watching Rocky and the Karate Kid every day, and I'm the only girl in this family. And so I wanted to be a sports broadcaster. I wanted my name to be Meg McCullough. I don't know why. It just felt right.
Yeah.
Like Meg McCullough, ESPN. Like that was my goal. That's what I really wanted to do. And that was my major originally. And, I was engaged before my husband, and he broke it off, and it was
his last name McCullough?
No, it wasn't even a good last name.
I can't believe you settled for Wilson.
But it's because my maiden name is so complicated. Hereford.
Oh, that is.
It's like a cow. Hereford is a cow.
Yeah.
So I got called Heifer, I was ready to get rid of that one.
Yeah.
So Wilson felt like fresh air.
Yeah.
But anyway, I actually had an internship with ESPN in Connecticut, and I turned it down because I had started dating my now husband, but I was worried it wouldn't work out, and I really liked him, so I didn't go.
You gave up your dream for a man.
Gave up my dream for him.
How's it turned out?
Now I'm like, I think I was supposed to be a nurse.
Okay.
I feel like it's the right path, but and I don't think I'd have the same life. Like, that life is super hardcore. They don't have a lot of, it's like family time.
You travel a ton.
You're gone a lot. So I think I would have been an amazing sports broadcaster as Meg McCullough.
Yeah, as Meg McCullough.
Yeah. Because I know so much about sports. But I'm good being Meg Wilson.
Yeah.
It's who I'm supposed to be.
Okay. Who did you go for in the Super Bowl?
I mean, the Chiefs.
Okay.
I like the Chiefs.
Okay. I went for the offense.
I went for the national anthem
I was
and the
really
halftime show.
into the Kelsey brothers the whole time.
Yeah, they're
They were
not
fun.
hard to look at.
No, neither of them.
Yeah.
And so I just decided, like, I listened to an interview with their mom and she's like, I'm cheering for the offense. And I was like, smart.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do.
I know. That would be impossible to have two sons on opposite teams.
She handled it so well.
She was a champ.
Actually, their whole family handled
Yeah.
the spotlight so well.
Amazing.
And as a sports broadcaster, the human interest story, unreal.
Right.
Unreal. But okay, so who are you going for in March Madness?
Oh man, I just filled out my bracket.
Okay.
I actually filled out 3 brackets.
Why?
Because my second oldest brother said, I'm going to buy a pair of Jordans to whoever wins in our family. So I'm like,
Okay.
well, I got to do that one.
Okay. Did you copy and paste each one? Or are they different?
No, they're all different.
Okay.
Strategic.
Okay.
Stratagem. So I got Texas in one.
Okay.
I have Purdue in one.
Okay.
I have Houston in one.
So it sounds like you have your bases covered.
I think so.
Okay.
And then it's going to end up being, Missouri. Somebody that
Who
knows.
knows?
Who knows?
What's your favorite sport to watch?
Basketball.
Okay.
Basketball for sure.
Fun.
So here's the thing. Watching on TV versus going to live.
Totally different.
Different.
Yeah.
Because I love going to a baseball game. Like in the stands. It's just.
Yeah, baseball in person is really fun.
But baseball on TV, you're like, meh.
Unless you really, I got into the World Series this last year.
World Series is super fun.
Yeah.
But
it seems to move quicker.
It does. But like I love going to a base. That's what I grew up
Plus with the new pitch clock.
Right.
It's going to go fast.
It's going to go really fast.
Yeah.
I actually really like tennis too.
Okay.
My daughter's huge into tennis, which I did not grow up around tennis, but it's really fun. The rules are different. They get to wear cute clothes.
Yeah. Our co-host, she does Monday's episodes with me. She's at the Palm Springs? No, yeah, the Palm Springs tennis match right now.
Like Indian Wells.
Indian Wells, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been sending me updates.
Yeah, it's just fun.
It's like, how's it going? She's like, there's a lot of hot guys, and every now and then I catch a glimpse of abs. It couldn't be better.
What else could you want?
Nothing.
Nothing. It's amazing.
Do you have any sports boyfriends?
I have a few.
Okay. Can we talk about it?
Some are retired.
Okay. Down. Let's
go. All right. I love Andy Roddick.
Okay.
I loved that guy. I don't know why.
Okay.
He just really did it for me.
Okay.
Let me think. Baseball. I don't know. Baseball's tougher. Here's the problem. I went to college on a basketball scholarship. I played basketball, and the baseball players were just kind of foul. Kind of ruined it for me.
Okay.
We all lived in the dorms together, and I'm like, you guys are just gross.
Yeah.
Just kind of gross creatures.
Okay.
Basketball though, like I love Jordan Clarkson on the Jazz.
Okay. I feel like I was at a game with my investors.
Okay.
And my management team.
Okay.
And I was like, Jordan Clarkson is every mom's boyfriend.
Why is he? I've heard other people say this.
Like, moms love Jordan Clarkson.
We love him.
MILFs for Clarkson. Like,
I need to do his IV. I need to get in with Jordan Clarkson.
I might have an in for you.
Stop it.
Later. We'll chat later.
All right.
Yeah, I feel like MILFs for Clarkson. He's been hurt. Here's kind of my theory with boyfriends. And I think I actually need to redo it. We're way off topic, but it's fine. You got to go to practice if you want to play in the game.
Absolutely.
So if you're hurt or you're out or you retire, like, sorry, and I only date winners.
Right.
So if you're on a losing team, I have a hard time like sticking with you.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah. So mine are, but now that I'm like pushing 45,
okay,
I feel like the athletes kind of stay the same age. Like they're in the 20s to 30s.
Yeah, they do.
And my daughter's hitting 17. So it's starting to feel a little predatorial. So I think I need to like start looking at like the coaching staff.
maybe like the trainers.
The owners. Like I need
it.
to maybe expand my horizons a little bit.
Who's your crush?
Okay, I have a few. Clarkson, obviously. But he's been injured.
I know.
So he's still on the roster, but he's on the bubble.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Oh my gosh, I love Jason Kelsey.
Love.
And Travis, although Travis lost the Super Bowl, it's kind of embarrassing.
Kind of awkward, like little brother beat
and
you.
I love Nick Bosa.
Okay.
And I almost had to break up with him, but he won Defensive Player of the Year. So
You felt like, okay, you're making a comeback.
Yeah, you win an award, you get to stay on the
Yeah,
roster
100%.
again. But their loss to the Eagles was kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
Locally, I'm super into the Utah Grizzlies, and I have a couple boyfriends on that team.
Okay, I've never been to a hockey game. That's where I fall short in sports.
Okay, you're coming with me.
I need to go.
Yeah. What do you have plans on Friday night? Actually, next week.
Okay, no. Next week I'm yours.
Okay, we'll go to the hockey game. Let's IV.
Okay.
And then go to the hockey game.
I love it.
Chris will be so excited.
I love it. That's an amazing plan. Yeah, I've heard it. I've actually the Stanley Cup is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But here's my problem with soccer, hockey. I'm like, just score already. I've been here for an hour and there's no score.
I feel that way too.
I can't
Hockey,
do it.
There's so many things happening. The skating's really fun.
The skating is actually crazy impressive.
We have really close seats right by the glass, and so they'll hit each other right up against the glass, and I don't know why, I just love it.
Because the rule is you can hit them until they fall. You can just wail on them.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
I feel like hockey rules are really up to interpretation.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah, but they can check each other all they want.
Right.
It's when you start fighting with fists is when it becomes a problem. But you also can't check with your stick, but you can body check a ton.
I like it though.
It's fun.
Okay, I think I would be into it. It was just not really. We were more like baseball, football, basketball. People.
You know, I really think
golf. I'm a big golfer.
I can't.
Do you have golf boyfriends?
No. I did. I started watching
boyfriends.
What's that Netflix show?
Full Swing.
Full Swing. And the cute little boy who just came out of nowhere this last year. I can't remember his name. Scotty.
Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, he's really, really cute.
He is cute. There's a lot of cute ones.
Yeah, maybe.
Dustin Johnson. Although he's kind of a traitor, he went to the Live tour. But my husband sort of weirdly looks like Dustin Johnson.
Oh, I see.
So I'm like, I obviously look just like Paulina.
Yeah,
Gretzky. We're clones.
Yeah. Wait, Dustin Johnson went to the other tour?
Yeah.
Okay.
He left the PGA.
Well,
it's kind of a hot topic.
It's a lot of money over there.
A lot of money.
Lots.
They can play less golf for more money. I mean, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, they'll all be back.
You think?
100%. It's not going to last that long. Banks are closing. You'll be back.
You'll be back.
If
they take them. What if they don't take them back?
They'll take them back.
But Tony Finau.
Yeah.
Gotta love that guy.
Yeah, he's local. He's from Utah.
Local.
Yeah, he's got 90 kids.
Well.
7. 8.
We ran into him at Universal Studios in Florida. He's the nicest person.
I'm
like, that would
really
be so annoying to just always have people stop you. He was so kind. Acted like we were buds.
I love people like that.
Should have asked him to do his IV.
Missed opportunity,
Meg.
Meg.
Tony, when you get back.
You know what? He probably would have done it for you.
I know.
We're going to get you into the athletes. Isn't that what Josh Red's supposed to do?
Yeah.
Do you know Josh Red came on this podcast last week?
I have so many stories about Josh. Scaring me to death. Wearing masks.
So he's a prankster.
He's the biggest prankster in America.
I don't love pranksters.
He scared. I was doing an IV at his house and he left the room and then snuck up behind me and just had this crazy mask on and scared me to death.
Rude.
And they were filming it.
Even
his
meaner.
kids are in on it.
Rude. Oh, okay. So let's talk through, since speaking of Josh, let's talk through relationships and building relationships and how it works in your business.
Okay.
How it's been successful for you.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of relate it to you go see these people and it's not just about being able to start an IV, which is a huge part of it. If somebody comes and pokes you 6 times, you're like, I don't know that I really want you to come back, right?
Yeah.
So you have to have skill, and that's obviously where my ER experience pays off huge for me. Is I've done millions of IVs.
On moving people.
On moving people, on drug addicts, on sick people, dehydrated people, dying people. You just get to do IVs in really bizarre circumstances. So it's almost, sometimes I'm like, it's not even a challenge unless it's a little tricky.
Mm-hmm.
You have a little tricky vein.
I do, but you've never missed mine. Chris supposedly has better veins than me, but
his aren't great, but he has that one good one.
On his hand.
Which it hurts a little more, to be
honest.
And
you go, I like that vein.
I like it.
Which is kind of disgusting. But
I honestly have a problem. I crush on veins. Like I'll be in the grocery store and I'm like, babe, look at that guy's veins over there. Do you think it's weird if I touch him? He's like, seriously, stop. Like you're a freak. But it's like,
Does your husband have good veins?
yeah, he does.
Oh.
I know. So sometimes like we'll just be cuddling and I'm like, oh, that one over there. That's a good one right there. He's like, you seriously have problems. But like, I love good veins. I love neck veins. It's just weird. You're just attracted to that kind of thing.
Interesting.
It's like, if you sold skincare, you're looking at everybody's skin.
Yeah.
That's how we are. We look at everybody's veins.
Yeah.
And I'm like looking at my kids' veins, like, okay, if there was ever a crisis, this is where I would go on you. It's so weird. It's such a weird way of thinking. But, back to your question about relationships. So if you're good at IVs, that's your first step in the door. And then obviously you got to be able to talk to people.
Yeah.
And I think you realize like this generational gap. It's easier for us to talk to people where the 20-year-olds, it's really hard for them. They can't make eye contact. Like they don't have those social skills. It's a skill, right?
Yeah.
Like communication, speaking, public speaking, talking to someone in their home. They get really like, I don't know how to carry on a conversation. I hear nurses tell me this all the time. Like, how can you not do that? You should be able to talk to someone for 45 minutes about anything. Right. And so when you can go in and do that and make them feel like the most important person, you're cultivating those relationships. And then it's, I have people, I see one girl who they make me food every time I go over there. She's like, you must be so hungry. I made you a grilled cheese. And I'm like, they just take care of you. It's like you're building these relationships more than just there to like start an IV and make people feel better, but you're building these relationships. Like we're like really connected here, and that's what's so fun about it for me. In the ER, you don't get that. Nobody likes you. People are throwing things at you. They're swearing at you. They're telling you how stupid you are, how bad you suck at your job. They asked for a Sprite 45 minutes ago and you haven't gotten it to them. And the reality is like one room, someone's dying. One room, the next person might be a suicide. The next room, someone's, needs stitches. So you're trying to like change your filter for each patient you see all the time. So ER nurses don't have this awesome reputation of being like these warm, friendly people because you're in these like traumatic situations sometimes. You're in really heated or difficult situations. So it's a totally different relationship than you build in these hospitals. You go into someone's home and you really have to cultivate those relationships. And that's what we want to do here at Modwella is like, we want to set ourselves apart from all these other IV businesses. Like we want to be the best. I want to be the best at what I do. I want to go in there and set the bar high and leave there and people be like, she's awesome. I want her back. Just because we created an experience for you, right? Like that's the goal of what we try to do that's what I try to do with everybody that I see. Like it's not just about getting in, starting an IV and getting out. It's about building these relationships with people. Like I've had so many cool opportunities. Like I'm going to Paris with the food nanny. I met her by starting her IV. It's just bizarre. You get to meet these cool people and people just take care of you. And like I could never have dreamed to have a nursing career like this because you grow up and if you're a nurse, like you work in the hospital and that's what you do, right? Like there's a lot of different nursing jobs, but there's just a huge stigma. Like you work in a clinic, you work in a doctor's office, you work in a hospital, like this is what you do. And this has allowed Modwell has allowed an opportunity to be like, we can be our own boss. Yeah. Like now we can go make this as big as we want to make it. Yeah. You want to go make 10 grand in a month? Like you just going to go grind your butt off and hustle and you can do it. Yeah. And in the hospitals, like you just don't get paid anything in Utah, especially. It's like being a teacher.
Really?
It's terrible.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So don't go into nursing, kids.
To do it in California. Like there are states where you can make a lot of money, but there again, the cost of living, right, is triple or double. And then you can go be a nurse practitioner, but it's more schooling. It's more, So this, for me, like this is a no-brainer. It's by far the best opportunity I've ever had.
Where do you feel like building relationships came from? Like growing up with that many brothers? As a child?
I think from my dad. Like my dad is just the guy that makes anybody feel like they're best friends. He just has that skill. He's a networker. I actually took this quiz.
What does he do?
He did network marketing like for years. Like that was his thing. Super successful in that. And he could talk to anybody. He could build those relationships. And I think he and I are very similar that way. You just feel like you can talk to anybody. You can find something to talk about. Like I go to clients' homes and we talk about UFOs. We talk about horses. We talk about bowling. Like you can kind of just talk about everything. Politics, religion, and some people that makes really uncomfortable. Like we can talk about anything that you want.
What quiz did you take? What were you
I was going to say, have you read The Survivors Club?
No.
Okay, it's a book. It's very interesting. It's about these people who survive crazy things that they shouldn't have survived. Like someone jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge and survived and lived to tell about it.
Whoa.
So these like, people are lost in the woods and all these crazy things, but it talks about when you get into these situations, everyone has this innate survival skill. Some people it's analytical. Some people it's physical strength, which is obviously mine from looking at me.
Right, sure.
No, mine is networking.
Mm.
So, and I'm like, that's totally how I am. That's just my personality. Like I can go talk to anybody and feel pretty like that is just a skill. It's a skill, right? I don't know why I'm good at it necessarily, but it's just something that I'm like, hey, let's work together. Let's do this together. You build these relationships just by networking. And I'm like, that is truly my survival skill. Like if I was lost in the woods, I'm going to network and barter with people. Like, look, I'll give you an IV. You give me some of your food. We're gonna work together, But yeah, I think I got it from my dad. That's super charismatic, super charming. That's just his personality. So
it's interesting. Your survival skill is networking.
yeah, you take a quiz. You need to take this quiz.
What's it called?
The book is called The Survivor's Club.
Okay.
But I think you can find the quiz online.
Okay. I'm going to check it out. That does sound super
It's
interesting.
fascinating. And it just puts you through all of these. It's like the fight or flight response, right? And that is, I see this in nursing every single day, especially in the ER. You put somebody in like a code, like, or a traumatic situation, and nurses like get in there or they like pass out or they like have to leave or run away. It's just that same type of thing. We all have a survival skill.
Yeah. I mean, blood and guts and gory, like you
can't do it.
I flight.
Oh, and I'm just like, I love it.
You're jumping in.
I just love it. People ask me that all the time. Like we see drownings, we see suicides, we see stabbings, shootings, all these things. Like, how do you separate it? I don't know. It's just you train your brain to shut off like the emotion to just do the task. Like this kid's not breathing. My job is to make him breathe, or this person is bleeding out. My job is to stop the bleed. Like you just go into a different zone in your brain.
Yeah, I can't.
I don't know if it's healthy.
I can't even watch you put the needle in my arm.
That's our task.
However, if like I have other skills where I'll fight, but for blood and snot.
Yeah, no, I'm not big on snot.
All nurses hate snot.
I almost was going to be a hygienist. That was one of my other things. And I'm like, people's mouths.
So disgusting.
Bad breath, sticky spit.
Plaque.
Can't do it. I can't do it. I'd rather wipe poop.
It's so wild. I bet I've heard that if you poll nurses,
yeah,
they all hate snot.
Yeah, snot is just no bueno.
So disgusting.
So disgusting.
Like blood and someone's hemorrhaging? Great.
Yeah, no, I'll take the
go.
blood all day. Yeah, blood all day. Give me the blood over the puke or over the snot.
What's the hardest part about your job?
My job right now?
Yeah.
I think the hardest thing for me is saying no.
Oh yeah.
So you go through this this crazy, I have no clients to now I have too many clients.
Right.
It's a great problem to have.
Yeah.
But the problem I've created now is like, there's really no balance in being a mom and working and right. Like I hate that term, but you're trying to just figure it all out to make sure you're giving time to where the time needs to go. And for me, I don't want to let people down. Like I'm a very big people pleaser by nature.
Yeah.
Which is the best and the worst thing about me. I'm super chill. I'm go with the flow, really easygoing, but then people walk all over you too. And in the beginning, when I was trying to build this business, I'm like doing IVs at 10 at night and 7 in the morning, to try and accommodate people's schedules. And now it's hard for me. Like I have to be able to say, I'm sorry, I can't come, but I'm going to send someone great, or we can do it at this time. And some people don't want to play that game. That's a challenge. It's really tricky because I'm doing more of the corporate stuff now.
Yeah.
I'm training all the nurses. I'm doing a lot of the education. And so the IV part of it kind of is tricky at times and saying like, do I have time or should I be home? Or, it just gets a little tricky saying no.
It's hard when you're building a business.
It's really hard.
Find balance. Eric Woodley was in here a couple weeks ago. He's an amazing realtor. And he was saying that people who are excellent, who end up being excellent in something, have some time in their life where they're not balanced.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you'd just be mediocre.
Right.
And I really think that's true. And just if you can set expectations with your family and be
Yeah.
like, hey, it's going to be unbalanced for a little bit.
Yeah.
I think everyone's okay.
Yeah. And I think as moms, like working moms, there's this really negative, I don't know, energy or connotation to being like, you're not home enough. You're not doing enough for your kids. You're not making dinner enough. And there are times I feel that mom guilt. You know, like these kids were so little when I went to school, they don't even remember. But I have the guilt of not being with them, like not savoring those little days, right? But now I'm like, I think they're going to appreciate a mom who gave them a better life and more opportunity and worked her tail off to, you know, show them that like hard work is important and we don't get things for free. Nothing comes easy, but you got to put some work into it.
Yeah.
So I hope I'm teaching them that and that they can see that. And I have, my husband's amazing. He's super supportive and he's been awesome. But yeah, it is a juggling act for sure to try and work and be home.
Yeah.
So, you know, that would be the second hardest thing too, for sure, along with saying no.
What does your average day look like?
Right now it's like kind of crazy. I mean, I'm still doing a lot of IVs. I'm trying to cut back and do more of the corporate training stuff, but depending on the week, like Mondays I go into our office. We do like a lot of the corporate stuff and the trainings. And then depending if I've put off IVs, like I'll go do IVs sometimes after that. And then I'm just on the phone a lot, answering questions, troubleshooting, problem solving for these nurses. I'm kind of like the go-to for them. Whether that's to help grow their business or, you know, they're just having problems with other nurses or problems with clients or whatever. So it can be busy.
Yeah. And then how many IVs do you do a day, do you think?
Depends on the day. I mean, there some days like I've done 10 or 12.
Sheesh.
It's a lot. And other days, like, you know, now I'm trying to do maybe 2 or 3. So it's better.
Wow.
Just saying no.
Yeah.
But it's so hard because I don't want to lose that business.
Yeah.
You know, so it's again, it's that juggling act of like, are they going to be mad? Is it okay to say no? And I think you just have to find
I've
a boundary.
seen a lot of people in the service industry kind of go through this this transition. My friend Lisa, she does Skin Boss. She kind of had the same issue, and my friend Lacey, who does laced hair. So it's like getting out behind the chair,
Yeah.
essentially, so that you can grow your business, because you can't grow your business when you're the one doing all of the appointments.
Right.
And everyone's kind of gone through the same growing pain, and like it feels like a risk. Like, okay, I'm going to spend my time, instead of being like the technician, I'm going to go and be the manager.
Right.
Because you can't be both. There's a great book on that, actually. It's called The E-Myth.
The E-Myth.
Uh-huh.
I need to read it.
Yeah, it's the first business book I ever read, and it's honestly one of the only ones I ever recommend, because it's such good business principles, and it will help you structure your business.
Yeah. Love that.
But essentially, it's like you cannot be both.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to be the technician, you're always going to be the technician.
Right.
So you have to take the leap to manager.
Yeah.
And there is a feeling of like, well, if I don't do it, then
That's exactly right.
it's not going to be done right. But then you build systems.
Yeah, and that's really what I like. That's my focus, is to get all these nurses like confident, right? A lot of it is just confidence. They all do great jobs, but some of them just don't have the confidence. And I'm like, that's all you have to do. And it's a weird transition for nurses too, because nurses aren't meant to be business people.
Right.
They're not salesmen. They're nurses.
Right.
And so now we're taking them into this kind of a salesman work, and it's totally shifting their thinking and their thought process of something that's not natural to them at all.
Yeah.
And it's not natural really, you know, even for me, but all of a sudden I was like, no, I can do this. We can do this.
Yeah.
And I think that's the first step, is just believing that you can do it. Right.
Yeah.
For all of us. And so, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing.
I love it. Okay. What is one lesson that you learned early on in nursing that is still true today?
Ooh, early on in nursing.
Yeah.
I really think, like, my dad said this to me. My dad is not a man of like long parent talks or like deep advice. He dropped me off at my college dorm when I was 18 years old in Arizona, and I like had no clue what I was doing. And all he said is, the choices you make will choose you.
The choices
The choices you make will make you.
will make you.
The choices you make will make you. That was it. And I was like, this is such a dumb thing to say. And that is like, it's all about choices, right? And some of those choices, I did not want to go to nursing school. I did not want to do that. And I actually like had a plan. I was like, I'm going to be a nurse for only 5 years because then we're going to make it big by then. My husband's going to be a billionaire and I'm going to sit at home and do nothing.
Yeah,
like,
right.
you have this like idea.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, no. I'm going to make all these choices. Every choice that I've made, every choice we all make leads to a better, like more towards your goals or further away from your goal.
Yep.
And I think like in everything we do in fitness, in, your time management and whatever your choices you're making brings you one step closer to what your ultimate goal is. And so that's something that's just always stuck with me is just all about choices. And the choice to go to nursing school exponentially changed my life forever for the better. No questions asked. And I think this choice, jumping over to Maduela, for me as a mom and just as a business person has been the best thing I ever did. The best thing I ever did. I think it's all about choices. And so I think that's the lesson that I learned early on is sometimes the hard choice is the best one to make.
Do you feel like you're risk averse?
Very.
Yeah.
I'm very comfortable in being like comfortable.
Yeah.
And the older I've gotten, I'm like, comfort really equals complacency. So it's scary for me, like to see some of these big names or really influential people, like even seeing you, like there's a level of intimidation there for sure.
For me?
Yes. They're like, people are like, you're going to see Susan?
Stop.
I'm like, well, yeah, I'm kind of a big deal.
I mean,
But really, like there's a lot of pressure to not miss or to go in and sell yourself. Like, so people like you.
mm-hmm.
And, yeah, it's risky. Going on Good Things Utah, I had to start an IV. Like I had 1 minute. They're like, you have 1 minute. I'm like, 1 minute? Like there's a lot of, it gets to be kind of hard and risky and challenging, but it's also what I kind of crave now.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
It's like the same with investments. My husband's like, I want to do this in real estate. I'm like, oh, what if it doesn't work out? Like I don't love the risk initially, but I think the risk is kind of what pays off.
Yeah.
Is what you realize.
Yeah. I love it. What's advice you would give someone starting out?
I really think like there's a couple of things. Self-belief is number one. Believing that you are capable. Like I think I felt like I don't think I'm qualified. I don't think I'm the one that should be able like that I could never start a business or I could never do well in a business because I'm just a nurse. Like I'm just a nurse. I couldn't do that. So self-belief, like that you can do it is number one, whatever that is, right? Running a marathon, like self-belief is one thing. And then perseverance. Like it's not all roses and lollipops, right? It's a grind. It's dang hard work, long days, long nights. And then just discipline, just making yourself do the things you don't want to do.
How did you start believing in yourself?
Okay, that's a great question. I started after I went to nursing school. I didn't think I could do it, first of all. I was like, I am physically not capable of learning. I'm not smart enough to do this job. Like I did not score well on the ACT. I think according to my ACT, they give you like job things that they say you'll be good at. Mine said dock worker. Like that's where I'm supposed to be, on the docks.
What is a dock
I
worker?
think you like haul freight from ships. I don't really know. I'm not sure. But I'm not like this level of intelligence. So, being a nurse for me was my parents were like, oh, honey, I'm not sure that's for you. Like it was a huge step just trying to do that. And so once I graduated, I said, I'm going to do something hard every single year. So like 1 year I ran a marathon. It's brutal. 1 year I got my bachelor's degree. 1 year we bought a puppy. That counts.
Yeah,
hard.
Totally counts.
That might be the hardest one.
Yeah.
Setting goals and making yourself do something hard, like really that you don't even know that you're capable to do, and then accomplishing it makes you feel like you can do anything.
100%.
Right? Like I've run a couple half marathons and I'm like, I can do this. I'm a solid athlete. I ran that full marathon, and at mile 19, I was texting my husband on my watch, come pick me up immediately. This is my location. This is dumb. This is stupid. I'm not doing it anymore. He's like, nice try. See you at the finish line, you know?
I hated running a marathon.
It was
People are
hell.
like, don't you want to do another one? I'm like,
Yep.
never. No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I
Everyone's like,
did it.
uh-huh. You're like, I did it.
I did it.
I did it.
But I don't need to ever
Yep.
do it again.
100%.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I just want to do something hard. I just want to do something really challenging, really hard. Set a goal, do the goal. I feel like if you write the goal down, set even a deadline, you're way more likely to accomplish the goal.
I also love how you're like, getting a puppy 1 year was hard.
It was,
I feel like sometimes your capacity's lower. And so sometimes just getting out of bed every day is a hard year.
right?
Yeah.
That is so true. Like, we're all in different phases and
Yeah.
stages of life. And people look at me like, and they're like, oh, you had way better contacts than I did. And I'm like, no, I just worked really, really hard to cultivate those relationships, right? It goes back to that. But yeah, I mean, I had a baby after 8 years. We went through infertility for 8 years. Like, that was super hard. And then I had a baby at 35 when I was like kind of over it. You know, I got pregnant. And I'm like, that was super hard. That twisted and changed my life dramatically. I'm so glad we have him, but that was dang hard. It was really hard being in the ER during that time. Like, drug addicts are pregnant, 14-year-olds are pregnant, 45-year-olds are pregnant. And I'm like, here's me. I'm a great person, can't get pregnant for no reason at all. Do all the fertility things that we did, IUI, all the things, stopped everything, then got pregnant. You know, like,
So wild.
it's so dumb. It's so dumb. But yeah, it's like hard. My hard compared to someone else's hard could be completely different. For some
Yeah.
people, it's just getting through a day. And
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah.
You know, where you're in that survival mode.
Same.
You just are like, I'm going to do anything I can today to just get in the shower.
Mhm.
You know, like, that's somebody's hard. And so that's where I say, like, that's for me, doing the hard is really what's paid off throughout my whole life. Whether that's in sports, whether it's in, you know, the relationships.
And that's where your confidence comes from.
Yeah, 100%.
Love it.
It's just saying I can do anything that I really put my mind to.
Okay. I love it. We're going to do some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
They-
I'm ready.
They kind of always end up being tangent-y, but who are your favorite kind of clients?
I think just really easy to talk to people. I go in and see like some people that are, again, call them high profile, I guess, and they're really difficult to work with because they expect a lot of things. They're just, it's not comfortable. I feel like I can't sit down or be myself or sit on their furniture. I love when I can just go in and like talk to somebody about anything. It's really easy. It flows.
What's something you wish all your clients would do?
I don't know. Probably tip. I mean, that's so stupid.
Okay.
That's so stupid. But like, we make a lot of our money off of tips, right?
Okay.
And I never expect tips. Everyone is very tip fatigued in this country because you go like through a drive-through and they're like, give me a tip. And you're like,
Right.
What did you do? You just
Right.
handed me my drink,
Right.
you know? But no, I don't know what every client would
Do you wish they would drink water before you
I
came?
wish they would drink water. I wish they would drink water and do 50 push-ups so their veins are ready to go.
Okay.
Yeah, that would make
I'm
our
gonna
job a
make
lot
Christian
easier.
do both of those
Yes.
things on
Jumping
Saturday.
jacks, push-ups.
We've been doing, actually, let's talk about NAD.
Okay.
Because I talked a little bit about it with Josh Red.
Okay.
And what is NAD? What does it stand for? Someone was
Okay.
asking me.
NAD is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. It's a mouthful. That's why we call it NAD.
What does it mean?
So basically, everyone has NAD in their cells. Like, we can't live without it. But as we get older, you have a telomere inside of your cell that begins to shrink. By the time you're like 40, it shrinks by 50%. And what the NAD does is it goes back into that telomere and it starts lengthening it back out. And so, like, they say this is like people call NAD the fountain of youth.
That's
it's
what
like
I've heard.
anti-aging, right? It's reversing all of the negative effects that happen as we age, and it's starting to reverse that in people. So sleep is a huge one. It regulates the circadian rhythm. They use it for drug addicts and alcoholism, and they use it to like rewire the cells in the brain to stop the cravings with addiction. They use it for energy. They use it for muscle recovery. I had a client who tore his bicep tendon. He's a huge golfer. They said he couldn't golf for like 16 weeks. He was swinging at 5, full swinging, no pain. He does NAD every week. Like, that's the only thing different. So it like restores tendons and collagen and like I actually have one lady who's like, I look in the mirror and I feel like I look younger. Is that so dumb?
You know what? I take really good care of my skin.
I can tell your skin is glowing.
Thank you.
I was going to tell you that.
I spend a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of energy on my skin. Ooh, I do the Botox. I do the RPF or whatever.
Yeah.
I do
all of it.
All of it. I noticed a huge I took NAD last Saturday. The delivery, we'll talk about the delivery in a second, but the delivery is a little tricky.
It's a little tricky.
But I noticed a huge difference in my skin this week.
Yeah.
And I've been taking care of my skin. I mean, I sit under a red light every morning.
Yeah.
Like I do all the things.
All the things. I get it.
And NAD, I feel like it just changed my skin.
I know.
Immediately.
It is wild. I mean, it literally, the things that I hear from people, the different types of things that what it works for them is insane.
Yeah, I slept so good.
Yeah, sleep is a huge one.
Best sleep of my life, it felt like.
I know.
I haven't slept like that since I was in my 20s. You know what it felt like? A nap after high school.
I miss those.
I know.
I need those. Those are the best.
Like that nap where you just like sleep so good. That's what it felt like.
We need to bring those back.
Yes.
Yeah, and is it because you have more stress as an adult? Like, when you're young, you just don't really care about it. Like, there's no worry, real worry.
I think probably stress really messes up your sleep a ton. I think what we eat messes up your sleep. I think the screen messes up everything messes up your sleep, but the NAD. So the delivery is so hard.
It's brutal.
It wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be.
Okay. And did I prep you well?
Yeah, because you prepped me well. But it is a lot of pressure. You have an IV, and it's weird because you can feel the IV like certain things you put in, like when you put in the magnesium.
Mm-hmm.
Was it magnesium? Yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, I can feel that.
Yeah, it makes you feel a little warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the NAD, you feel this pressure, like something sitting on your chest.
I know. It's like, I always tell people it's an overall discomfort.
Yeah.
It's not pain.
No.
Chris calls me the tree person on Princess Bride. He's like, you're stretching all my internal organs out.
Chris also has a very low tolerance for pain. Most men do, right?
Like man colds, you know?
Yeah,
it's just kind of who they are sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just an overall heaviness. It's an overall discomfort. And everybody feels it different. I have a lot of guys that feel it in their stomachs more and they get really nauseous. Women usually feel it in their chest. I feel it in my neck, like someone's kind of squeezing my neck. And some people feel it in their heads. And some people feel it all over, But if you can get through, it's usually 10 to 20 minutes.
It was like 13. I timed it.
She timed, not to be like specific, but 13 minutes
Here's
exactly.
If I know what I'm getting myself into, I can do almost anything. So I was like, okay, 13, 15 minutes next time. Yep. I can do anything for 15 minutes.
That's exactly right. And I think knowing now that you know the benefit afterward, it's easier to put yourself through it.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. In fact, I texted you this week and I'm like, I'm going to do it every week until I go on my trip.
Right.
Because I just think it's going to.
It is wild.
It's wonderful.
It's wonderful. And it really is. I mean, like we use it for people with Parkinson's and dementia. And it's not stopping the disease, but it's definitely significantly slowing the progression. And their spouses are like, it's insane, the difference I see in them. And more periods of lucidity and all kinds of things like that versus when they're not on it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's crazy. It's money.
Oh, also, just getting a bag of saline really changes your life.
Well, because think about it, right? Like, nobody drinks enough water. Most people. We all think we do, but we just typically, you're busy, you're running around. Like, we just don't.
Yeah.
And so, especially like for men who I feel like are worse at it than women sometimes. Like, my husband feels like $1 million just to get a bag of fluid.
Yeah.
He's like traveled a lot. He's been doing a lot of things. He feels so good. It's
so amazing. Any good books or movies? Do you do either of those?
Yes. I just read The High Five Habit by Mel Robbins.
Okay.
I love Mel.
I haven't listened to any of her stuff. Is A High Five Habit, though, is that the book where she recorded it and they didn't cut out? Did you listen to it or did you read it?
I read it.
I think that on her audio book of it, they forgot to cut out all of the mess ups. For some reason, it just didn't get cut out. So it's like her being like, F.
Yeah, she's got a mouth on her for sure.
Amazing.
But I love Mel. Mel is like somebody that I feel like I can relate to.
Yeah.
Because she's just like, nobody's going to come save you.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's going to come start the business for you. Nobody's going to come get you off your couch. Like, you got to get up every day and do it. And for me, like, I really seriously, this is no joke. My mom told me, just marry somebody rich, honey.
Oh, I know. Right?
I'm like, that is terrible advice.
I feel like that was the 90s.
It's a generational thing.
Like, I feel like my mom, and she did a great job.
Totally.
My mom did a great job. But it was like, you should be a teacher or a nurse just in case you get divorced
Right.
or your husband dies, and then you can work.
Yeah.
While your kids are in school.
Right.
And then when I started my business, I remember being like, teacher or nurse? Yeah, right.
I know. Tell me about it.
No, I know. That's the same.
But and she, she just talks like her high five habit. Like, give yourself a high five, kind of going back to what we talked about, for doing the best you can do. That's the first high five. Like, their dopamine release when you give a high five, like, we celebrate, like, good job, you're awesome. She's like, start doing that with yourself and just see the difference in your day, right? I love it. I'm like, it's such a simple thing, but like, start by high fiving yourself in the morning and just see how that changes your mood. Like, I'm awesome today. Look at what I've accomplished. I'm a badass. Like, high five in the mirror,
Yeah.
It seems so silly.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I kind of love it. So,
do you listen to her podcast?
Yes.
I need to listen to it. She's top 5. Always. She's killing it.
She just resonates with me. I just think everything she says, I love.
How was your concert last Saturday?
Got canceled.
Stop it.
Like an hour before.
Were you guys already up there?
Yes.
What'd you do?
Okay, so we went to this place called the Westerner Country Line Dancing.
Oh my gosh.
It was
Where?
actually amazing.
Is it in Salt Lake?
It's in Salt Lake. They have a bull you can ride.
Oh,
I'm
it's
for
like
sure probably the oldest person
the
in there.
whole vibe.
There's like rodeo guys in there.
Did you
Wranglers
ride the
and
bull?
No, I didn't ride the bull, but I was a line dancing fool. And some of them are complicated.
Yeah.
I couldn't walk the next day. I had to take a lot of ibuprofen.
He's like, NAD it up.
I'm like,
girl."
I need an IV because this was not good on my hips. But it was actually a blast. They just line dance, which I didn't know that was in the cards for me, but it is now.
Okay, that sounds fun.
So yeah, we made the best of it. It was fun.
Okay, so you drive a lot.
I drive a lot.
What are you listening to in your car?
Okay, this is really embarrassing. Do you know what Motiversity is? Have you
No.
heard of that? Okay. It's just their like YouTube motivations. And some of them are very intense. Like they're yelling at you like, quit being a weenie, get up, but I like it.
Okay.
It's just like these motivational, like never give up. And they have like these, they compile things from like all these famous speakers like Mel Robbins and Eric Thomas and Tony Robbins sometimes, David Goggins, like all the, their stories and things.
Okay.
But I'm into that. Or just music, depends on my mood.
All right.
Murder podcasts.
Oh, obviously.
Like true crime. I love true crime.
We talked about the Murdoch murders.
We
right?
did.
Yeah. You got into those, right?
Wild.
He's so guilty.
He's so guilty. All of it.
So guilty.
So guilty.
Okay, early bird or night owl?
Night owl. I don't love mornings, never have. Trying to love them more, not easy for me.
Not easy. I am both.
Yeah, I used to stay up till like 2 and 3. I can't do that anymore.
No.
I'm like now like 11:30 midnight girl, and I get up at like 7:30.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's
good.
What do you do to unwind?
Take a bath. I love baths.
You're so lucky. I don't have a bath.
What?
Yeah, when we moved, her new house, my bathroom does not have a bath. Gus, who you've met, my 13-year-old,
Yes.
my 14-year-old, has a bathtub in his bathroom, but I think I need a Hep C shot before I get in it.
You have to check it for disease. That is amazing.
It's that would be gambling with your health in a way
We're
that
building
I'm not.
you a bath,
There's no room in my. I've tried to reconfigure
an outdoor bath.
I have my hot tub.
Okay, hot tub works.
Yeah, no, I love my hot tub.
Do you get itchy though?
From a hot tub?
Hot tubs, is that a real thing? I get itchy.
Yeah, no, sometimes I'll get something here because of my neck. I know you're not supposed to put a ton of like AHAs on it, but I do sometimes, and then
Yeah.
my skin's thin there, and then yeah, it's not the same though. You know,
No.
like sometimes you come home in the winter, you just want to take a bath.
I like in the middle of the afternoon when I'm frozen.
Yeah.
I'm in the bath.
Yeah. Yeah. No, my old bathroom, beautiful bath. Really miss it. I feel like if Christian loved me, then he'd figure it out for me.
Tune in, Christian. Tune in.
He doesn't listen to these. He might actually
He's going
listen.
to now.
because you're on it.
100%.
Yeah. but that is my dream life now.
Yeah.
Is a house with a bathtub.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't want to build again. I would build again. I don't want to move again.
I know. Moving is the worst.
The worst. Okay, last question. What legacy are you trying to build?
The legacy I'm trying to build is just, I think for just moms, working moms especially, like that you can do it. I want to like, especially for women, I think we've had this weird, like women stay at home, like, and we're kind of phasing out of that culture, right? But like growing up, like the mom stayed at home. That's what you do, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I think that's so fulfilling in so many ways. But if you're a mom that works, like there's really like you're a powerful force to be reckoned with. There's nothing that can stop you. If you want to start your business, go start a business. You want to go to nursing school, go to nursing school. Like you want to change your life, go change your life.
Mm.
And I think like everyone has that capability in some form or another. It looks different for everybody. It doesn't have to be nursing. It doesn't have to be a business per se. But like back to Mel Robbins, like nobody's going to come do it for you, right?
Yeah.
Like we have to be the ones to take the risk, to make the jump, to do the hard thing. And I hope that, again, my kids can just see the benefit of that and want to mimic that because, I can do that because my mom did that. I know how to work hard because my mom taught me.
I love that. All right. Thanks for coming, Meg.
Thanks so much. This was amazing.
You did good.
Thanks.